Welcome to On Point by Target River, the podcast where strategy meets execution with a little fun. I'm your host, Brian, and each episode will break down what actually works in marketing, sales, and growth so you can stay sharp, focused, and always on point. Let's dive in.
Have you ever heard of an Eagle Scout who couldn't start a fire? Well, this dates back to my freshman year of college, and our university, the University of Puget Sound, where I started my education, had the novel idea to give students a week off before finals to go study. So my best friend Leaf and I decided that we were going to go camping for a week to get away from all the distractions of fraternity parties and friends and other things and go study in the Olympic National Park along the western part of the state of Washington. So we ventured off on our first day. We took about a 2.5 mile hike out to the coast there and came upon a wet, damp forest. So, of course, because I'm the Eagle Scout, my friend said, "Great, I'll set up the tent, you get the fire going." What I thought would be an easy thing with my skills of building a teepee and all the little tricks that I learned as an Eagle Scout, I could not get this fire started. And the more I tried, the more I failed, and the more my friend laughed at me at the Eagle Scout who couldn't get a fire going. So this no longer was about camping. This was about pressure and trying to deliver when I had really put myself in a bad situation. So the struggle continues on, and then I remember I am in the wettest place on the continental U.S. The Olympic rainforest gets more rain than anywhere else in the lower 48 states, and here I am trying to find dry wood. So after about an hour, my friend's now starving because we couldn't cook our meals. I realized that the only thing we have left that we could utilize that was dry were the notes that we had brought to study with for our finals. So we decided to pull out our notebooks and liberally go through pulling out things that we didn't think we needed to study for those finals that were coming up a week from now. So mission accomplished, we got the fire started, and then we decided to gather more and more wood. Did is we actually dried out lots of wood so we would never be without and we could keep that fire going on for the rest of the week. It took a little bit of a different ignition to get that fire going that day, but we got it going. One of the things that helped me realize was I needed to slow down and think about the process I was going through and think about that kindling that I could get the fire started with. It wasn't going to start on its own. It needed the right conditions. It needed the right spark. And then that small flame that we got going turned into a magnificent fire, okay? This fire, we got to where it was over 6 feet tall, and it could be seen up and down the coastline. In fact, we joked that ships passing by in the Straits of Juan de Fuca could probably see that fire at night because it burned so brightly for 6 straight days. It was great visibility for us. But as I thought about it, over the course of the week, as we tried to study, but more acted like Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn and had adventures every day, it was our guiding light every night as we came back to camp. No matter where we were along the coast or along a couple of the little islands that we ventured out to during low tides, we could always find our way back to our campsite because of this fire that we had finally lit. It was the thing that provided the signal that clearly helped us find our way home. So what's the lesson in this beyond maybe be more prepared? If you remember, the Boy Scout motto is be prepared. Well, I wasn't in that situation, but in this situation, what I learned from it is to always have that focal point that helps us go in the right direction to make sure that we've got the clarity to get there. Oftentimes, when it comes to marketing, we can blame a lot of things for ineffectiveness of it. We can blame the budget. We can blame the wrong staff. We can blame the wrong message. It comes back to this. Are you on point? Are you going in the right direction to reach the people that you want to reach? If you are, you're setting up your marketing campaign for success. If you're not, you're going to be doing lots of random acts of marketing that aren't on point and are off course or in the wrong direction. As we think about the title of this podcast, On Point with Target River, it's about direction before tactics. It's about clarity before you start spending. And it's about measuring outcomes over just random acts of activity. When we take the time to put the right building blocks in place, you can have success. As I think back to that freshman year just a few years ago, a better plan would have been to bring the right kindling, to think ahead, to realize that I'm going to one of the wettest places on earth. I should probably bring something to start that fire. If we'd planned ahead, if we'd thought through, when we built the right foundation, we would have had a fire much sooner. And we would have probably done better on those finals because we probably burned a few too many notes than we should have. And our grades suffered as such. But we learned some great lessons from that. We had some great memories. But again, the key for us was remembering, and as we think about that story and have talked about it over the past several years, that light represented the direction that we needed to go no matter where we were. It was that beacon that brought us back home, and it was that guiding path. And as I think about marketing, that holds true as well. We think about the outcomes that we want to achieve, and we set up the right building blocks to ensure that we're reaching the right people the right way with the right message. And when we establish that, we achieve incredible things. Thanks for tuning in. In our next episode, I'll share what happens when everything's lined up, the crowd is watching, and execution comes down to inches.
Thanks for listening to On Point by Target River. If you're ready to grow your organization with real strategy that generates meaningful results, visit targetriver.com and connect with our team today. Stay focused, stay winning, and stay on point. We'll see you next time.